2024 has arrived, whether we like it or not, and to help you feel optimistic about the fresh set of months ahead, let's look at 10 of Rotten Tomatoes' most anticipated movies of the year. I'm talking about some major sequels, adaptations, and spin-offs that just might make that hangover worth it after all. It's a supersized episode on this week's, or should I say this year's, What to Watch.
It's only fragments. Nothing's clear.
Arriving on March 1 is Dune Part 2. The second part of director Denis Villeneuve's adaptation of the iconic sci-fi novel will once again feature the likes of Timothée Chalamet, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, and others. But it's worth noting the new folks who are joining the fun, like Florence Pugh and Christopher Walken, which begs the question, are there cowbells on the desert planet of Arrakis? And if there was one knock on the Certified Fresh first film, it's that it was lacking in the action department. Well, this one promises to be more action-filled as Chalamet's Paul Atreides tries to regain control of his planet. So yeah, feel free to get excited about this one, Dune and movie fans. Coming in late March is another big sci-fi film, Mickey 17. This is the latest offering from writer, director, and producer Bong Joon-ho, who is pretty much the biggest name in movies for a while after Parasite blew everyone's mind back in 2019. This adaptation of Edward Ashton's 2022 novel Mickey 7 is about a disposable employee who is colonizing an ice world and has a new body regenerated with most of his memories intact whenever he dies. Wowza! And telling this unique story is a cast that includes Robert Pattinson, Steven Yeun, Toni Collette, and Mark Ruffalo. Double wowza.
Are you guys aware there's like a pretty huge civil war going on all across America?
We just try to stay out. With what we see on the news, seems like it's for the best.
Also arriving in the spring will be the action flick Civil War. No, not the Captain America movie. Written and directed by Alex Garland, this movie takes place in the near future as a team of journalists travel the country during a civil war that is quickly escalating due to a dystopian dictatorship government. Are we sure this is a good idea in an election year? Also, this is actually A24's most expensive movie to date, telegraphing their venture into producing more commercial films. But the most important thing to note is that the one and only Nick Offerman plays the President of the United States. Finally!
I see everything.
That is not everything.
Hitting theaters in May is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. As the fourth installment in the rebooted Planet of the Apes franchise, this one serves as a sequel to 2017's Certified Fresh War of the Planet of the Apes. And this time it's director Wes Ball from the Maze Runner franchise who is pumping new life into this epic saga. And while the film stars Owen Teague and Freya Allan will probably be familiar to you, this flick is all about the apes and their story, as it takes place nearly 300 years after the previous film, where apes are the dominant species, humans live in the shadows, and a crazy ape leader is looking to build an empire.
I'm Furiosa!
The darkest of angels.
Coming in hot at the end of May will be Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. After Charlize Theron's Furiosa character kinda sorta stole the show in the 2015 hit Mad Max Fury Road, director George Miller is back 8 years later with this prequel/spin-off of that movie. It's about time. This one will explore Furiosa's origin story, with Anya Taylor-Joy stepping into the character. She'll be joined by Chris Hemsworth in a supporting role as a young Furiosa survives many trials while trying to find her way back home, aka another dope-looking race across the desert, hopefully.
Orange? Who made the console orange?
Do I look orange?
I didn't touch it.
Orange is not my color.
Not me.
Hello?
Getting emotional in June will be the animated sequel Inside Out 2. This is a follow-up to the 2015 very certified fresh hit Inside Out from Disney and Pixar, with the main voice cast of Amy Poehler, Phyllis Smith, and Louis Black returning, which is kind of a enough said kind of thing. But it is a sequel and will be taking things up a notch by introducing new emotions into the mix now that young Riley is becoming a full-blown teen, one of which is anxiety. The new character will be voiced by new cast member Maya Hawke. Giving you some theater air conditioning reprieve right smack dab in the middle of summer will be the long-awaited Deadpool 3. After the previous two certified fresh films were massive hits in 2016 and 2018, this one took a little bit of a detour to get made. As in, Disney bought 20th Century Fox Studios and now Marvel has control of the character, meaning yes, now Deadpool is part of the MCU. But perhaps the biggest headline surrounding this latest installment is the return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which is going to be super rad. But don't forget that Jennifer Garner is also returning to Marvel as Elektra after previously appearing in 2003's Daredevil and 2005's Elektra. Dude, is it summer yet? Just in time for fall will be the sequel, Joker Folie à Deux. After what was supposed to be a one-off, this is a somewhat surprising follow-up to the twisted take on the DC villain from 2019, with director Todd Phillips and star Joaquin Phoenix returning. Only this time, it's a musical. And helping drive that point home even more is the fact that pop star/actress Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn, who develops an unhealthy obsession with Arthur Fleck, aka Joker. And I can't wait to see what this means exactly in the mind of Todd Phillips. Re-entering the movie ring in November is the epic historical drama Gladiator 2. You heard that right. 24 years after Russell Crowe starred in the Certified Fresh original, director Ridley Scott is back with a new story. This time it follows the nephew of Joaquin Phoenix's Commodus character named Lucius, who is now a grown man after being saved by Crowe's Maximus in the first movie. This time, Paul Mescal stars, with Denzel Washington in a supporting role, and Connie Nielsen and Derek Jacobi reprising their roles as Lucilla and Senator Gracchus respectively. It's gonna be epic, like literally. Adapting into movie form in November is the musical fantasy flick Wicked Part 1. Directed by John M. Chu of Crazy Rich Asians fame, this is the first of a two-part film adaptation of the stage musical Wicked, which of course is based on a 1995 novel centering around characters from the original book and the 1939 movie. So yeah, it's an adaptation of an adaptation based on an adaptation, you get it. And telling the story about how the Wicked Witch of the West rose to wickedness will be stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, with Jeff Goldblum and Michelle Yeoh in supporting roles. Yes, please. If we click our heels now, do we get it sooner or later, or how does that work? Well, there you have it. 10 picks to get you excited about the year 2024 in movies. Be sure to let us and your fellow viewers know in the comments what you're most excited for, whether it was on this list or not. Remember to check out RottenTomatoes.com for the latest updates on scores and reviews for everything mentioned, as well as the movie and TV world at large. That's all for today, Fresh Family. Until next week, stay fresh.